So your predictions for this game then on Cloud Kingdom, you said that there's potential for C to get his army a little bit forward here. He also has a lot more defensive options because that area in between the natural and the third he can defend pretty easily with just a handful of tanks. So there are a variety of builds that are available for him, but we'll see what he's going to get here in a second. Take it away, sir.
All right, well, spawning in the top right position of Cloud Kingdom, we have Liquid Sea playing as the Blue Terran. And spawning in the bottom left position, we have the Red Zerg, Startail Life.
Okay, so Life, we mentioned before, can throw a variety of stuff at you. He can also be a little bit cheesy at times, and usually in a best-of-3 scenario, unless he's really, really respecting of his opponent, which he may be actually here, he tends to throw that in at least to throw his opponent off.
Right. Well, I think on this map, compared to what Life did before, you've cross-position in Toon Valley, trying to pull any kind of really aggressive play. You have a large distance to go. You can run into a lot of problems with moving roaches, giving your opponent a lot of time to react. I think if Life was going to go for a cheesy play, and this is what it seems... Oh, okay, just an extractor check. Well, it seems like this would be the map to do any kind of aggressive play. Not as much of a rush distance for anything like roaches. And C, playing the economic game first up. If you're up 1-0, you might as well go for it. Yeah,
we've seen him roach bailing quite a few times on this map, at least in IPL play. So we'll see what he offers now here. So I guess let's... we've asked everyone kind of a random question. We first asked what was your favorite animal. Then we also asked what was your favorite food. So now I have to know, where is what is the most beautiful place on Earth that you have ever visited?
Most beautiful place I've ever visited?
Yes.
Well, I mean, in terms of nature, I would say my hometown, where I basically am, there's a lot of beautiful nature. I'm a forest man. I like to go, walk around, check out trees and stuff. I'm from Scranton, Moscow area. There's a lot of woods, coal mines and such, and I kind of, it's like we're all working, and all this technology is always around us. But I think it's kind of cool to be able to take time and really just enjoy nature's beauty. I just really like being able to walk around a forest and just, no sounds and just enjoy yourself.
Nice. Very cool. You'd enjoy Northern California quite a bit then, I have to say. Well, guys, if you want to vote for Nathanius here in the IPL caster search, then please do tweet at IGNProLeague and hashtag IPL Nathanius to make sure that your voice is heard. And we'll certainly be considering the community's opinion as we move forward. And all right, so let's go ahead and check back into this game. Life going with a hatch first into pool. No real surprise there. Following that up with gas. Not going to open for any sort of a quick 4-queen build that's been falling a lot out of favor out of the Korean Zerg players lately.
Yeah, I mean, Terran players have really been picking up on the proper ways to punish that with, Hellion Banshee doing fast combat shield marine pushes. And for a Zerg player, you open up with the gas, it gives you so many options. You get the map control back. You don't have to worry about early marine pressure. And this also opens up if the Terran player is playing too greedy. If you scout a third command center, you can really just amp the aggression up on your own side.
Well, see, once again, pretty much opening with the exact same build that we saw. Opening into his tech pretty quickly. We'll see if he goes for that same reactored Hellion into bio play with that quick third, or if he gets something a little bit different up his sleeve. Life, on the other hand, we're not really going to get a read on him for a while. Last time, he decided to keep 3 workers. We were talking about the roach all in, and it may end up happening right here.
Yeah, I mean, this build is much stronger on this map. The rush distance is so much shorter than cross positions in Tomb, and, I mean... He's up 1 game. He can go for this really aggressive play. He knows how to do it well. He's done it a lot of times before, and he's very good at it. So, I mean, worst comes to worst. This fails. It's 1-1, and he still has a chance at this, but this just gives him an opportunity to steal the series right out the gate.
Yeah, and he'll have his choice of map. A lot of things will still be going in his favor, but of course, see, he's really going to need to defend against this. And if he does the exact same thing that he did last time, if we see just after the factory is complete a third base getting put down and he invests into his infrastructure and tech more than anything else, then he's going to be in a pretty bad spot.
Yeah, and the biggest thing I notice right now is that I don't believe... Okay, the bunker is just starting in C's natural. There are 6 roaches on the way, and the reactor and factory are going, so he's going to be opening up Hellions. He's only produced about 2-3 Marines. He's not going to be able to deal with this pressure very effectively, and where the bunker's positioned, if Life brings his roaches to the opposite side of the command center, he could force a lift and kill a lot of SCVs. All
right, so we'll see if C prepares for this in any other way, because, man, he needs units, and he needs them in a hurry. He is going to go right for a starport, so it looks like we are going to see some Banshees here in a second, but by the time that these roaches hit, that Banshee is only going to be a part of the way finished.
Yeah, these are some of the faster roach-based builds. A lot of other builds. If you go for the roach baneling, sometimes by the time you reach the Terran player's base, they can have a Banshee and Hellions and enough Hellions to really try to micro their way through it. But in this instance, C doesn't really have much to deal with this except his one bunker and barely any SCVs to repair it down there.
And he's going up for another command center now. Now, you do have circumstances where even if you take a little bit of damage from the roaches, you can still recover because of the number of orbital commands that you have available, but this is still going to be very difficult as that bunker could go down very quickly. It looks like C is actually going to hold here for just a second because Life was trying to bypass that. So he actually hasn't done that much damage to the bunker quite yet. Now all the mules are done, but 3 Marines, I should say, inside of the bunker is enough to start pushing this back. Not the best handling of that scenario by Life. He's joining up beyond this, so it's not like this is an all-in, but he really hasn't done the damage that he wanted to.
Yeah, I think going up the ramp was a little bit excessive. I think this decision, he should have done this at first. Just park by the command center, pick off what he can. If the Terran player doesn't lose too many SCVs, or even if they lose a lot, the main thing is that you hold off the attack, and you're on triple command center. Life's on 2 bases, and with 3 mules and triple SCV production, if he maintains that constantly, he can come back into this very quickly, and he hasn't lost anywhere near enough for this to be cost-effective for Life.
Okay, so Life, after all of this, is up by 15 workers. So you may think, oh, wow, look at the economy there. Well, not necessarily the case. With triple command centers, he's going to be able to produce a lot of SCVs. Add on to the fact that he'll be making triple mules. His economy is actually going to skyrocket here momentarily, and he's had a pretty significant tech advantage. Life did decide to go for a pretty quick layer behind this, but now he's stuck on 2 bases. He's investing in infrastructure. He's investing in a tech at a time when he really needs not to be doing that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not entirely sure if when the roaches went up the ramp, they saw that starport, so he might try to go for a quick spire or maybe even a Nidus to bypass the wall, something really crazy as a follow-up to this because he didn't really do that much damage. But I'm not entirely sure it could be that effective. It looks like C is going to be getting a tech lab on his barracks and is going to move into more bio-style play again.
And you can see that C's already made up a lot of that worker difference. It was upwards of 20 just a second ago, down to just 13. So looks like this Banshee not really going to do all that much damage. In fact, it's going to do none at all. There are 4 queens out there, and that's going to be more than enough to deal with this.
Yeah, and as I stated, Life's got the Spire going now, so basically wants to try to knock back any kind of pressure that C would put on as a counter to the failed push. We have Life's 3rd base going, and double armory is also coming up for C, so he will be moving into Mech to follow this up.
Yes, he will be, and he's kind of at his most fun whenever he's playing Mech too, so I'm certainly enthusiastic to see this, but double armory, 2 more factories, everything hitting at about the right time, just aliens on the map so far, but hopefully he's going to be getting something up to defend against this. If I was taking a look at his vision there, you can see he got just far enough to not see the Spire. A little bit further and he would have been able to pick up on it.
Yeah, and I actually really like this play by Life. What he's doing, he opened with the roaches, so now C's best move, as it were, would be to get Banshees, to get siege tanks, and to prepare. His engineering bay will only just be finishing. He doesn't know about the Spire, and worst comes to worst, if he overproduces on Thor's trying to counter when the Mutalisks do eventually show up, he could go for a big roach push and maybe knock him out there when he's trying to take his 3rd base.
All right, so 7 Mutalisks are on the way, along with +1 weapons, so he is going to commit into these pretty heavily. Now, he is supply block because there is a Viking that's flying around and picking off Overlords. Already has 2 kills to its credit, so it'll be a while before any additional Mutalisks get added on, and that could potentially buy C enough time to start rallying his way back against these. He's already producing Thor, so he will have a little bit of anti-air, actually double Thor production, no siege tanks whatsoever.
Yeah, and I think that's the right move. Even if any other kind of ground-based pressure came in, you can repair the Thors. He has some Hellions. You can sort of work with it. But if you only have pure siege tank to deal with the possibility of more roach aggression, which is unlikely anyway, then you're really vulnerable to the Mutalisks. And now he sees them approaching the 3rd base.
Yeah, that's right. So he's already ducking everything away. Does he have an engineering bay to start putting up any sort of missile turrets? No, he does not. So he is going to have to defend with pure Thor here, which could become problematic, at least just for a little bit. There we go. Starting to force those units away. Now splash damage, not really hitting anything else. These mutas are still going to disrupt mining here.
Yeah, it's a good play to deny the mining, and I actually noticed he has the engineering bay in the mineral line of his natural, so he's going to get some turrets up there, but doesn't really have the Thor ability, and now we see the Roachling aggression possibly coming up, and he's just denying a lot of mining, and this is actually a really good play by Life. I love the Mutalisk usage.
Okay, still no engineering base, though, so he's going to have to rely on basically the mobile turrets of the Thors to be able to do any damage. Life, at the same time, is moving up to a 4th base down here in the bottom right-hand corner. He's kind of retaken an overwhelming economic advantage because there are no mules down right now because he can't effectively take advantage of those.
Yeah, and this is kind of what you want to do as the Zerg against a meching player. You want to keep them off that third base as long as you can. And he's going to have his 1-1 now, but now with the Ling and Roach aggression that could be coming up, he's going to have to worry about getting siege tanks. He doesn't want to be overwhelmed by ground units, and he also doesn't have blue flame, so it's going to be a bit of a tricky situation for him to hold further aggression, I think.
All right, so now missile turrets are finally coming up as that engineering bay did finish, so we'll see what he can do now, as he does have a little bit more overt protection against these mutas, if nothing else. But a lot of Zerglings running dead on into a bunch of blue flame Hellions. They immediately get torched, and most of the anti-air goes down too, so Life a bit overextending there, didn't really get anything done, and that could give C the confidence he needs to retake this base.
Yeah, I guess with the blue flame, he was able to hold out really well. Not a lot of roaches. We do have the siege tank out, though, and he does have siege mode, so he's actually in a pretty solid position to take this base. A bit of a supply deficit, but a decent amount of that is in roaches and mutas, units that, against a well-rounded out mech composition, won't really be able to put too much of a punch into.
Right, the cost effectiveness of C's units is a little bit better, but Life is still in an advantage. He's still in a good position right now. His creep spread is fantastic. At the 14-minute mark, it is pretty much all the way across the map, or through the middle, I should say. It's actually to the point where just one more tumor is going to deny the fourth base from C. So, pretty effective job there. 2 more factories making their way out. He'll be on a total of 5. His upgrades are hitting at about the right time. Going to be on 2-2 in about 100 seconds. So C's got a lot going for him, but Life, he's made all his appropriate transitions. He's got spine crawlers up to defend. He's going up to hive. He's got a bunch of infestors out. So he's really hitting towards that late game composition too.
Yeah, and one of the ways a lot of Terran players like to play mech is you macro up, you get your third base as early as you can, and you go for like a 16-minute 2-2, semi-max push. But Life's done a really great job of slowing him down, keeping him off that third base, keeping him off of the 5 factories. And now with this Roach aggression, he's going to be able to cut down the supply even more and just delay any kind of push by C.
Nice job to pick off the siege tank right away. That gives him a lot of flexibility in moving over here to the left-hand side. But at the same time, there's a lot of blue flame Hellions inside of the natural. They haven't killed that many workers quite yet. Looks like only a total of 6 have fallen for C.
Yeah, unfortunately, without that +2 attack upgrade finishing yet, it takes 3 shots to kill the drone, so not able to do the kind of damage that he would have wanted to do. But, I mean, if C can keep this base established and really aggressively expand, I think is the best way to do this, or because with the supply count as it is, and the further Roach aggression and losing the Thors, is really going to cause a big problem with him ever wanting to move out of his base or even take a 4th base with the hive completed.
And you're talking about losing Thors, and if each time he walks in, picks off 1, moves back, picks off 1, moves back, he's actually going to be in a pretty good spot. So, that's a little bit of a mistake from Life, though. Walks up with his infestors, loses 2 of them right away. At the same time, though, maybe he's just trying to draw his opponent's attention away, but he runs in with some roaches into the natural. Those aren't going to do anything, but this group of roaches has done some damage over at the 3rd. Once again, though, more tanks are brought up for C, and he is able to deal with that fairly effectively.
Yeah, I mean, he's not killing C with this, but he's doing what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He's moving up to the Greater Spire. He has the Corruptors on the way. He has the upgrades on the way. He's up 80 supply. C's never going to be able to leave his base. And then before you know it, Broodlords will be at his front door, and he's not going to be able to max on Mech, and he's not going to be able to afford Viking transition.
Well, he's trying to produce as many Vikings as he can right now just in preparation, but that's going to be a little bit too little. Nice scan there. He's going to pick up that Infestor bye-bye and actually get out of there. And those infested Terrans are just going to be like, wait a second, get back here. So 3 Vikings, though, is not going to be enough against the already 9 Corruptors, soon to be Broodlords that'll be morphing in here in a second.
Yeah, and all the Roach aggression is forced C into making a lot of siege tanks, and really the ground composition isn't looking like it's been that heavy. He's not really going to help him against the Broodlords when they show up, and without enough anti-air, sometimes you want those extra Thors to be able to throw in splash damage if the Zerg player doesn't split his Broodlords well enough.
So Life has now taken his entire side of the map. He's got a 6 base down at the bottom right. He's already saturated his 5th. He's going to be working off his 9th and 10th gas here momentarily. Hellions actually getting picked up very quickly, and a lot of these siege tanks are caught out in the middle, but they can't engage that quite yet because the Thor did end up catching up. So now Life, once again, finds himself in a fairly decent spot, but now as these Broodlords finish up, the situation is going to become a lot more difficult. Although I will say there is an opportunity here for C, because there's only 2 Infestors and only 1 Corruptor out at the moment. Yes, there are 4 more Corruptors that are popping in, but it's going to be a while before they rally themselves to the front, and even the meager amount of Vikings will be able to slowly pick those away.
Yeah, but I think there's just going to be too much here. He's going to get the surround with the Roaches. The Broodlord is able to do all the damage they want. And I think it would have been cool to see if he'd gotten Burrow Move on his Roaches and just snuck up onto that army. Can't really afford to produce a Raven or waste scans just because of how badly his economy's been hurt. But the Vikings are swooping in. Not too much of a response for that, but the siege tanks are being cornered in the center right side either way. And it looks like that's going to be GG from C.
All right, so C goes down 2-0. Startail Live staving off elimination, and he moves into the next round.